All right, give me a minute. Open sesame. Easy peasy.
Done Pete.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of CryptoZombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having an excellent start to your Monday. Oh my goodness, panic in the streets. The Bitcoin price is falling. Altcoins are getting hit even harder. That's it. It's the top. I knew I should have sold, right? That's probably what you're saying to yourself if you are new to cryptocurrencies. Now, you can see that we did have a nice bounce around the $31,240 level, which if you guys watched my previous video, I told you about the significance of these two trends, and we did get support on both of them. So honestly, this wasn't really to be unexpected, but you are new potentially to crypto, so you're wondering what is going on. Well, we're going to talk about today why you, my friend, if you are new, are being manipulated. I'm going to show you exactly what is happening right now in Bitcoin, why we're seeing this Bitcoin price action, what's actually going on in the background. It's a little bit maniacal. We'll get into that. And I'm going to show you right now why if you are panic selling, you are literally selling your Bitcoin away to the smart money right now. I'm going to show you how they're accumulating and how they are currently FUDing the market right now. In fact, I've taken the opportunity to take advantage of this current volatility in the markets. Actually, over on my ByBit account, this is my scalp account. I like having two separate accounts. I was actually able to make two separate trades of 1.1 and 1.1 profits. So I was able to make 2.2 Bitcoin yesterday in about 3 hours on my scalp account. Now, if you guys are interested in how to trade using leverage, I don't recommend it for beginners, but it has been quite profitable for me. Actually, you can see even on some of the others on my scalp trades, I've literally only been making green trades. For me, this is very simple, but it could be complex if you're new. If you want to learn how to trade, check out my ByBit tutorial. Today we have an exclusive $520 bonus. You can actually head on over there to the rewards hub and you just put in the code jackpot as the voucher code, redeem, and boom, there you go. You will have until February 5th to make these certain deposits, and you also get an extra $20 coupon just for signing up. So if you haven't done that yet, definitely head below to the link in the description. And if you are US based, well, you obviously shouldn't be trading over on these exchanges. I can't imagine how you'd get around that no KYC barrier, but let's dive in and let's have a look. So, talking about how I'm actually able to profit on all of these trades, well, it's just using simple trend lines, guys. We know where we're hitting resistance, where we're hitting support. We know that Bitcoin is due for these 25%, 30% corrections, and I've been around the block. This is my 4th year in cryptocurrency, guys. I have seen the highs, I have seen the lows, and I can tell you what we are witnessing right now is nothing but good old-fashioned market manipulation. They are trying to take your Bitcoin. They are trying to take your Ethereum. And if you don't believe me, stick around to the end and you might change your tune on things. Now, having a look right here, as far as the Bitcoin dominance is concerned, Bitcoin is still leading the way. I wouldn't really be diving into altcoins. I know lots of YouTubers talking about altcoins. Everyone's getting hundreds of thousands of views talking about altcoins. But I'm telling you guys, the primary focus right now is still on Bitcoin. You can see that, by the way, that Bitcoin dominance continues to remain right around the 70% level. Now, I'm not saying that we couldn't potentially go lower. We do have a very legacy trend right here. Now, this started all the way back in October, and there is the possibility, that we do come down and bounce around and retest to this level right here. You could see Bitcoin head back down into the mid 20,000s. That is possible, but remember, guys, the trend is your friend until the end. Now, we have talked about this ascending broadening wedge, and we have breached back into it. Now, a healthy correction would find us somewhere back on this heart line, and as I pointed out, these are just different ways to look at the chart. Very simple. I'm not using 100 100 different indicators. Very simple. A 5-year-old can understand this, okay? You know, we could potentially come down here and retest somewhere along this heartline, which I do believe we would have a massive, massive bounce. But let's talk about one thing, why. Let's talk about why we're seeing this dip. Now, there are a lot of speculators out there that have been looking at the US dollar currency index, okay? And this has essentially hit what we believe to be a low point. This could be the formation of a giant double bottom for the dollar. Now, you can see the last time the dollar fell down to some of these levels, and this is actually gonna blow your mind, is right here, December of 2017, leading into January of 2018. You can see the bottom right here. What else had an all-time high in December of 2017 and then had an altcoin rally in January of 2018? My goodness, it was cryptocurrency. So is history repeating itself? Is that it? Is the dollar looking for that reversal? And does that mean that you should sell your Bitcoin? Well, historically, looking at Bitcoin, once we do hit these all-time highs, we very often do retest them. Now, we have not actually retested the 20K level, not really the way that I would have liked to have seen it get retested. You could see previously when Bitcoin had actually broken right here to its level of $161. We went all the way up to 1,140 and came down here and retested this in January of 2015. Now, keep in mind, the previous was in April of 2013. It took 2 years to retest that level. Over here, right? We also had Bitcoin, we had a high right here at 1,000, and then we retested it in February of 2017 before blasting off to the 2017 all-time high, right? And technically, we haven't come down to that level again. So is it possible to see a $20,000 Bitcoin? It isn't quite out of the cards, but just to put this into perspective, you could see, like Smart Contractor pointed out, this was the largest ever 4-hour bullish hammer in Bitcoin's history, a $4,150 4-hour candle range. Some people might disagree, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and say up only, right? Now, you have to look into this, take this in like for what it is. You zoom out and look at this. It's all about perspective. So you have Christian. He says, this is the dump you've all been freaking out about in the last few hours. Are you kidding me? Right here, we are still totally within the stock to flow ratio. Bitcoin is still headed for $250,000 this peak. And if you don't believe me, stick around. We're going to show you the evidence, how and why. And, like Kane says, for those of you who are trading in 2017 or earlier, these bull markets, it's very obvious. These kinds of corrections are typically driven by over-leveraged longs, not whales dumping on you. And you can see right here, we've had some insane liquidations, right? The market was over-leveraged. We had way too many longs. We needed a correction, but something else did in fact happen that is fundamental and we do need to discuss. We actually had a high volume of spot selling, but guess who it was from? The miners. So data provided by South Korea-based analytics firm CryptoQuant suggests that Bitcoin miners did in fact contribute to this drop. It looks like they finally, decided, hey, we need to take some profits. Don't forget, these guys need to pay the electric bills. The 30-day average of miner position index, the ratio of total miner outflows in US dollar terms divided by the 365-day moving average of outflows rose to 2.2. which was the highest levels we have seen since July of 2019. A reading above 2 indicates that miners are in fact selling. Now, as VA pointed out, in 2017 Bitcoin bull market, we saw corrections, and we've been talking about these 30%. I don't know how long I've been talking about these. I told you guys that they happen. It shouldn't come as a shock that we're having it right now. 38%, 33%, 29%. However, in the current bull market, we seem to be seeing corrections around the 15 to 20% range. And if we actually go right here and look at where we took this dip from top to bottom, as I said, that was a 25% correction. That is the exact correction that we expect. This is typical. This is healthy in a bull market. So I hate that I got to make these videos, but guys, if you're panic selling right now and you're new, just remember that the hodlers, the strong hands, are the ones that always prevail in these markets long term, right? I lost my place right here, but let's talk about what's really happening, and let's talk about what you are doing if you are in fact selling your Bitcoin. Bitcoin is in fact changing hands fast as it dropped to 32,000 and below. However, only the millionaires are winning, and this is according to data. Statistics governing wallet balances from Glassnode reveal that the main investors buying the dip are those with balances in excess of 1,000 Bitcoin, or 36 million. The millionaires are buying the dips, and the retail noobs are selling it to them, right? You have Elias Simos, protocol specialist at blockchain infrastructure provider Bison Trails. He said, addresses with more than 1,000 Bitcoin continue growing at the expense of all the others, even as the most recent downturn takes effect. He goes, while you were selling, whales were gobbling up your Bitcoin. And Alistair Milne, don't be a part of the Bitcoin transfer to the billionaires, corporates, and hedge funds. Well, at least not just yet. So, what is happening right here? My friends, this is classic manipulation. This is classic institutions have missed the boat, right? If the retail investor misses the boat, well, you missed the boat. But if the institutions miss the boat, well, they pull the boat back. Guggenheim Scott Menard says Bitcoin should be worth $400,000. Now, he says this on December 16th. And then today, he says Bitcoin's parabolic rise is unsustainable in the near term, vulnerable to a setback. The target technical upside of 350,000 has been exceeded. Time to take some money off the table. Essentially, he is now saying Bitcoin should be worth 440,000, and then a month later he says it's time to take some money off the table. Well, didn't we hear that they were actually getting involved in Bitcoin? Well, look at what Alex Kruger says. He says his carefully drafted words, talking about Scott, may make the unaware think that Guggenheim is taking profits. But the truth is they haven't even bought yet. What? They haven't even bought yet? Yes, that's right, my friends. If you have a look at the SEC, they are still waiting on the approval that they filed to the SEC to invest in Bitcoin via Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. And guess what? According to this, that doesn't take effect until January 31st. So this says to me that our good old buddy Scott is FUDing the market. This is what institutions do. They're scaring you to sell your Bitcoin, and it's working. You're seeing the 25%, 30% dip. And guess what? On January 31st, right when these guys get their approval to invest, they're going in hard with hundreds of millions of dollars, and they're buying the dip that you panic sold to them. And if you don't believe me that this is what is going on, you need to watch this video, FUD High and then Buy Low. And this is exactly what the institutions do. Now, JP Morgan recently came out and said that Bitcoin should be worth around $140,000. But if you remember Jamie Dimon calling Bitcoin a fraud, what is the deal? First, you call it a fraud, you say you'll fire anyone, and then you buy it. Let me show you the proof documented right here in the video, and then we'll continue.
This has really been extremely egregious. So on September 12th, Jamie Dimon says Bitcoin is a fraud. He says he'll fire any one of his traders buying Bitcoin. Bitcoin drops 24%. When Jamie Dimon speaks, people listen. People listen. So that weekend, we found out that the largest buyer of a Bitcoin fund that's in Europe that buys physical Bitcoin, right? The largest buyer was Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan. And that's not illegal.
He says it's a fraud.
It says he'll fire anyone that buys it. Yes.
And at the same time, his company is buying it.
His company is buying it.
It's just, so unethical.
Right.
Okay, George Soros.
George Soros, in January 24th, price was already down, calls Bitcoin a bubble, says Bitcoin is the worst, the worst investment in the world. Don't buy Bitcoin. Don't buy Bitcoin. Basically throws gasoline on the fire at this point. And then what do we find out? So he says bubble here.
It drops 44%.
Right. And then here in April, 2 months later, guess what we find out?
Yeah.
His $26 billion family office has approval to buy cryptocurrency.
Right. And we only knew about it publicly here. And this is the kind of thing that George Soros is famous for this, talking the sterling down.
Yeah.
And what did he do? He stole the pensions of all the little people.
Yeah, made $1 billion.
Yeah.
Okay, so then here now, Goldman Sachs, this, again, February 7th, most cryptocurrencies will crash to zero. Now, I remember when they said this in February, and I had, through my network, I knew that Goldman Sachs was setting up a crypto trading desk. Absolutely knew they were setting up a crypto trading desk. And
I remember you telling me that.
Right, and then, of course, they were denying it. No, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. Yep. Price falls down 27%, and then what do we find out? We find out here, they say BTC 0, and then we find out just before May, new trading desk. Not only that, they put $400 million to buy a cryptocurrency trading platform. Okay, so February 7th, it's all going to zero. May, we just spent $400 million just on a flyer.
And they're not the only ones.
No.
And not to mention the fact that Morgan Stanley just filed an SEC form declaring that they now own about 10.9, almost 11% of the MicroStrategy stock. So, granted, they've increased their position by 360%, so they don't technically own Bitcoin, but if MicroStrategy has a major portion of their portfolio allocated into Bitcoin, then theoretically, this means that the banks indirectly own Bitcoin. That's right, guys. They want your Bitcoin. Do not sell it to them. You will regret it. Like Willy Woo points out, the flippening of Bitcoin to gold is inevitable. 40% of gold supply is available for financial use. The rest is locked up in the jewelry industry. Gold cap is about 11 trillion. Gold's financial use cap is about 4.4 trillion. At gold's present price, Bitcoin at $240,000 will flip gold's use as a financial hedge, and this could happen in just 12 months. We are going up, my friends. These dips are for buying. This is manipulation. The institutions want in. I don't care if Bitcoin goes down to 20K because Bitcoin is going to 220, 250K by the end of this year, and it is going to $1 million by the end of this decade. Do you have the patience to accumulate? Because these guys certainly do, and they're not afraid to FUD and make it happen. Oh, speaking about banks, we have the Shinhan Bank, the oldest banking institution in South Korea, continuing its efforts to introduce digital custody services. They recently invested in Korea's digital asset trust, and with this new investment, Shinhan Bank moves closer to offering its own cryptocurrency custody business. Now, of course, this doesn't come with some FUD. We do have HSBC over in the UK as well as the FCA saying, watch out for Bitcoin. You could lose everything. It could go to zero. Convenient time for you guys to come out with this FUD, right? Obviously at the top, they're scaring everyone. They're trying to get you to sell your Bitcoin. You do what you want, not financial advice. Look, if you're over leveraged and you're using your mortgage or rent money right now in Bitcoin, then that's probably a bad idea. You might not want to do that. But if you are dollar cost averaging or you're buying the dip, I don't see any reason why anyone should be panic selling at these levels. Not financial advice. Do what you want. But Biden readies a new $3 trillion stimulus package. He's calling for $2,000 for U.S. citizens. There was some rumors about $2,000 a month for all citizens, and this just going to be an ongoing thing. With all of this money coming in, all of the helicopter printing, etc., where do you think this money is eventually going to find a safe, nestled place? I say Bitcoin. That is where I believe it will go. And for my friends out there that say that I don't talk about altcoins enough, well, one altcoin that has got my interest, I should say, is Glitch. They are over on TrustSwap. I love TrustSwap. I think they're a great platform. And Glitch essentially is looking to be a bit of like a protocol layer. I like looking at these protocols. I think they can do really well. Some of the things that they're looking to offer include scalable consensus, profit sharing vault, token wrapping, and, a decentralized exchange. Now, obviously, these are things that we've seen before, but, it is always good to keep your eyes on these niches. They are focusing specifically on DeFi. So definitely check that out, guys. But we do need to give away a Ledger Nano S. I didn't forget, it is Monday. So having a look right here, we only had 5 videos last week, unfortunately, but we will generate out of 5. So that is the last video. That's my last video that I put out. So let's see if you, looks like I accidentally added that video to a list. Oops. All right, let's come over here and let's give a Ledger away. Guys, I had to come back and make this video because I just feel like, I don't know, I literally in my Twitter was seeing people call for like $6,000 Bitcoin. Bitcoin takes a 25% hit, and now all of a sudden we're going to 6,000? Come on, guys. Come on. You act like you've never seen this before. So does anyone have any short-term ideas for Bitcoin Cash? I have a plan to switch it to BTC, but I'm unsure about it. Well, Roby Who, Bitcoin Cash, I think just had a bit of a pump, right? So if you were in on that pump, probably now would be the good time to transfer it to Bitcoin, but not financial advice. Regardless, you are the winner of the ledger. You know what to do. Hit me up in the official About Me section. And yeah. So that is it for me today. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. Also, don't forget about the ByBit bonus, $520, $20 just for depositing. Like I said, I do have multiple different accounts. I showed you some of the trades I was making on my scalp account. You don't really have to now, since technically ByBit, you can do the hedging with the USDT, but I'm old school. I just like having 2 accounts. So that is it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. I haven't been making videos, so I can't say this is the reason I do it every single day, but I felt the need to make this video because I'm seeing a lot of FUD, a lot of new people in the space, lots of crazy gurus out there trying to tell you all this stuff. Guys, at the end of the day, dollar cost average, hodl. You don't need to be trading. If you want to, there's opportunities. Like I said, check out my ByBit tutorial. It is below. It did pop above at some point in this video. And that is it for me. You guys rock. My name's K-Dub. This is CryptoZombie. Until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.